Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Welcome to Finance Friday Live. I am trying to make sure everybody's live, so give me just a moment. If you are popping in, feel free to say hey. Mhm. This one's gonna be real short, sweet, and to the point because I don't know if y'all can tell, but I do not feel good. But I wanted to get this information out to y'all. Hey Kanji, I miss you. But I wanted to get this information out to y'all. So it's gonna be real short and sweet. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go ahead and jump in. People can catch the replays if they missed the beginning. So I learned a vocabulary word this week, and I never knew that this existed. But because there's so many different types of inflation, right? Like I know about stagflation, regular inflation, so on and so forth. But there's a new term. Well, I don't know if it's a new term. It's new to me, but it's called Wolverine inflation. So Wolverine inflation is what we are experiencing right now. And what Wolverine inflation is it's inflation that is hard for policymakers to stop. So the last time this happened was back in the 1970s. But what it's saying is inflation, like the Fed can't stop it because even though they are raising interest rates, people are still like, well, I still want a house and I still want a car and I still want this and I still want that. And so it's really not moving the needle like they thought it was. That's why they've been doing more and more drastic changes to the interest rate. So that actually has a term and it's called Wolverine inflation. And they are blaming it on us millennials, which I guess because we're the ones looking for the houses and the cars and stuff like that. So, I mean, I guess. But that is a new term that I just learned that I didn't even know existed until now. And then also, I'm sure you all heard the news that they said that the consumer price index, so that means inflation, rose by 9.1% in June from the year earlier. So that's 9.1% more than it was last year. That is the biggest annual increase in inflation in more than 40 years. So we are literally making history right now. I don't know if it's a good thing, but we are making history as far as that's concerned. So just keep that in mind. Wolverine inflation is what we are experiencing right now. I never knew that term until today. So just sharing the knowledge with you. Another thing, article I read that I thought was really interesting was it said that many Americans are now spending over $1,000 on car payments because going back to my first point, even though interest rates are high, we're like, we still want the car, we still want the house, we still want these things that we've been holding off for so long. And so I thought it was shocking that most car payments are now over $1,000 a month. And I just want to say to people, please, 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 I know you want these things and I know it's new, but make sure that you can afford it long term because this is not going to be forever. Inflation, how good the economy is, maybe even how good, like, how much you're getting paid and all that stuff. It's not going to be the same forever. So if you're getting into these expensive car loans, mind you, they're probably for an extended period of time because cars are high right now too, then just think a little bit about the long term and make sure that you'll be able to afford this payment for the long term. I know back in 2016, I had bought a brand new car off the lot and I was, oh, Honda CRV, feeling myself or whatever. But a couple years into paying them payments, I said, Tiffany, you tripping. I'm like, why are you spending so much on a car? Because mind you, cars depreciate in value. Anything with an engine. So boats, cars, whatever, they all depreciate in value. So there's no point in paying a lot over a long period of time, because it's a pretty much a sinking asset. So just keep that in mind. I know you all want these new cars, newfound money with the stimuluses and stuff like that, but just make sure you think about the long term too. Don't just think about the short term and anything you do with your money. So I just wanted to point that out. Then also, apparently, they're talking about a new child tax credit coming soon. We'll see what happens. Currently, they're still in talks. It's not official yet. They just created it. I think it was brought up by Mitt Romney, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, Republican Senator Mitt Romney. He brought up the Family Security Act 2.0, is what they're calling it. And the only issue, though, with this one is that they're saying you have to be working in order to get it, which, if you think about it, the people that aren't working or can't work or whatever the case may be, they're going to be the ones most affected by not getting a check. So it's really interesting how they have this one structured, but they were saying for each child under the age of 6, eligible parents could receive up to $350 per month. The number of children eligible would be capped at 6, so a max total of 2,100 per month. For each kid between the ages of 6 and 17, eligible parents would receive up to $250 a month. And that would be capped at 6 for $1,500 per month as the maximum. So, this sounds similar to what they did before, but like I said, this one has income eligibility requirements. So it includes a work requirement. You have to be working in order to get it, apparently. You must have earned $10,000 or more in the past year to receive the full benefit. And if you earn less than that, then you would get, less. So it'll kind of be like, phased out, a phased out amount. And there's also a phase out threshold for higher earners too. So if you make too much or you make too little, you might not get the whole thing. Another thing that I thought was interesting is that expecting parents would also receive payments under the plan. Like, I didn't know that that was a thing back in the 2021 one, but apparently it is. If your child was born by the end of December, you could also get the child tax credit. And they were saying with this one, those who are 4 months away from their due date would receive up to $700 per month, totaling $2,800 during the pregnancy. So I guess as the closer you are to your due date, if they do enact this, the more you'll get per month to kind of get you to that $3,600 December limit, is how I assume. It's really interesting. But people were saying it's unclear what happens to the money that's already been dispersed if, let's say, for instance, they lost a baby, unfortunately, during the pregnancy, and they don't have the child. Then what? Is this something that's going to be taken away from their taxes? Would they end up owing that money back? There's a lot of question marks with those. And then also, they didn't address if somebody's pregnant with multiples. How would that work? What if they're pregnant with multiples, but then they don't have multiples at birth? How does that work? There's still a lot of questions with this, but I just wanted y'all to be aware that that is something that could potentially be coming down the pipeline, because ever since they stopped the ones from last year, they stopped those in December, people have been concerned about maybe people falling off an income cliff because all of these government assistant things are stopping. And so now they're trying to think through, okay, should we start this back? And if we do, what does that look like? So I just wanted to put those things on your radar. I think that's all I wanted to cover today. Yeah, because I wanted to make this real quick, short, and to the point, because homegirl don't feel good. But thank you so much for joining me on this Finance Friday Live. If you missed any part of this, I always keep the replays up. So definitely keep that in mind. Go back, rewatch, share, like, subscribe, comment, whatever. Let me know you here. Unfortunately, I'm not doing questions today, but next week I am going to open it up to questions, and you can actually join me in my live studio audience. So I will have that link out there for you all as well. If you're on Instagram, Twitter, or YouTube, you'll find that link in the bio. But until next week, I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of your week and see you on next Friday. Bye.